Hey guys, welcome back. Thought while I had some time this weekend, I'd throw up a couple of comic videos, maybe more than a couple, see how it goes. This one I just was one of my favorites when I was a kid, and you know, done by none other than the great Jack Kirby. Uh, I discovered most of his Marvel work a little bit later on, but when I was a kid, most of the stuff I saw like was early stuff for DC post New Gods and Fourth World stuff. But this was always one of my favorite titles, and I just kind of had a great affinity for it and the characters. And of course, it's got great Kirby artwork. I think Mike Royer inked about all these issues except for the last one, or maybe the fifth one. I think was Wally Wood inked one of them, so you get an extra treat there. So it only ran 6 issues. There was a seventh issue planned, but it didn't get printed, and it was part of the infamous DC implosion or explosion or whatever. Uh, and the story that was supposed to run in number 7 eventually got reprinted or printed for the first time, I guess, in one of the DC digests. And but more about that later. Anyway, here we go. Issue number 1. Got the great Kirby action figure pose cover. Uh, just just great little characters, a little guy named Jed teaming up with Sandman from the Dream Stream, and had a couple little cohorts called Nightmares that he kept in glass tubes called Brute and Glob that would help him in his adventures. Just a really really fun little title, and Jed would go help him out in the Dream Stream once in a while. So there's another copy of number 1. And here's the purple background variant. I really didn't know this thing existed until about 8 or 10 years ago, and I found a really good deal on one, so I thought I'd snag it up. Now this is the very first issue of Sandman I ever owned, as you can tell. But just more great fun stuff. Doesn't take itself too seriously. I think it's probably what I really loved about it. But fighting more nightmare characters in issue 2. And I've got duplicates of all these. Big surprise, right, Eric? Another number 2. This is probably a high grade number 2, looks like. Okay, number 3. And another number 3. And number 4. I think here was my original copy of number 4. You can kind of tell it's pretty beat up. And another one. Okay, and probably this is probably my favorite issue versus the Frogmen. You see the little heads at top, Jed and Brute and Glob. It's great fun stuff. And a couple more copies. This is probably the highest grade. And last issue, number 6. Got a couple copies of that. And as I said, there was a 7th issue planned. And I think I actually had, I've got some Xeroxes of the canceled comic Cavalcade that has the story for number 7 in it. But then later on, it was reprinted, or like I said before, printed for the first time in a DC Digest. It was called The Sealmen's War on Santa Claus. And it was actually supposed to be like a part of a story in an unpublished Commandy issue. And you find out later on that the little guy Jed in all these stories is actually an alternative universe version of Commandy. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I don't know if Jed existed in Earth 1 continuity. Because the only other time I remember seeing the Sandman character, as far as like with the other superheroes, I think was like in a Justice League annual later on. And then I think later on than that, when they came out with the new Sandman series in the late 80s, I think Hector Hall, aka Silver Scarab, son of Golden Age Hawkman, was actually had taken over the character's costume or his powers or whatever. So he was the master of the Dream Stream. But a lot of info, right? Anyway, great little series. Highly recommend it. Did want to show you as far as issue number 7 was concerned. I think I showed this before. Jack Kirby's Bronze Age Omnibus. A very cool book. You can see the stuff was in it. Sandman OMAC, Spirit World, the Atlas appearance from first issue special, in the Days of the Mob, the Losers, and Mr. Kirby himself. But it reprints all those great stories that he did for DC in the 70s. Includes all the Sandman stories, plus issue number 7. Reprints all the covers. Okay, let's see if I can find it. And I don't think there actually was a cover, but reprinted in a bigger size in full color. This was issue number 7. The Seal Men's War on Santa Claus. So we get to see Jed and Sandman teamed up with Santa Claus. So pretty cool stuff. Alright guys, that's it for right now. I'll probably post another one later on. And I hope you guys are having a great weekend. Onward and upward.